Analysis and Remediation Proposal. A Wizard Roadshow White Paper, Global Robotics Corporation, 2026 edition. Scroll background. The Hidden Ice Worm Legacy Camp Century was constructed in 1959 under the Greenland ice sheet by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Publicly presented as a research base, it secretly supported Project Iceworm, a proposed network of nuclear missile silos buried in the Arctic. The camp was powered by a PM-2A nuclear reactor, which was removed before abandonment in 1967. What was not removed? 200,000 liters of diesel fuel, unknown volumes of radioactive coolant water, PCBs, solvents, sewage, and military debris. It was entombed in ice under the assumption the ice would remain permanent. That assumption is now melting. Arctic Climate Council. Present danger. Climate change and AMP. Ice melt due to accelerated Arctic warming. The ice sheet covering Camp Century is thinning, projected to expose waste by 2090 or sooner. Meltwater may mobilize toxic and radioactive contaminants, flowing into the North Atlantic Ocean and impacting Arctic marine life, Greenland's fisheries, indigenous communities, the global food chain, legal and diplomatic gridlock. There is no current legal agreement on who is responsible for the cleanup, how to safely remove or contain the waste, how to compensate Greenlandic communities at risk. Treaties from the Cold War era do not cover melting glaciers as a waste disposal failure scenario. Thus, this requires a 21st century moral framework and technological solution. Global Robotics Proposal. Cleanup and AMP. Transformation. A 5-phase wizard-led remediation strategy, integrating advanced robotics, bioremediation, and spiritual stewardship of land and life. Phase 1. Quantum mapping and AMP. Remote resonance scanning. Deploy satellite plus drone lidar and AMP. Ground-penetrating radar to create a 3D map of tunnels, reactor debris zones, and pollutant spread. Use Schumann resonance harmonics and ELF sensors to detect trapped charged particles and radiation spikes. Eye modeling predicts melt vectors over the next 50 years to inform proactive stabilization. Phase 2. Robotic core sample and AMP. Waste inventory retrieval. Use autonomous cryo diggers, inspired by NASA Europa landers, to drill and retrieve sealed samples. Classified materials by hazard level, radioactive. Diesel PCB, chemical legacy equipment. This minimizes human exposure and preserves data on Cold War contamination. Phase 3. Waste containment, extraction, and relocation. Construct mobile vitrification reactors to encapsulate radioactive isotopes into glass on site, used in Fukushima and Chernobyl. Diesel fuels extracted using cryogenic pumping and AMP, nanofiber filters. PCBs adsorbed using biochar infill plus hemp-derived binders, then shipped for destruction at certified EU or US facilities. Greenland could host a mobile neutralization dome, serving as both remediation base and Arctic research center. Phase 4. Bioremediation and frequency restoration. Reintroduce native moss, lichen, and cold-adapted microbial consortia to detoxify low-grade hydrocarbon residues. Install 432 Hz and 528 Hz frequency resonators into the dome to accelerate cellular repair of soil and ice structure. Resonant environmental medicine. Integrate this with storytelling, education, and restoration ceremonies to acknowledge the wrongs done on sacred land. Phase 5. Reframing the site as a healing monument. Convert Camp Century into a peace technologies memorial, documenting the rise and fall of Iceworm, lessons on arrogance versus humility, how the future chose to clean the past. Incorporate digital archive, harmonic meditation room, Arctic biodiversity monitoring station. International collaboration opportunity. This cleanup requires US funding and AMP. Transparency. Danish treaty revision. Greenlandic leadership. Private tech sector and AMP. NGOs. Potential partners: Elon Musk, Starlink drones, Boring County tunneling, UNESCO, World Heritage Remediation Grant, Global Robotics Corp. AI plus robotics integration, Greenlandic universities and spiritual leaders. Estimated cost: $350 million minus $500 m, but the cost of doing nothing. Global trust erosion, Arctic food collapse, sovereign violations, permanent bioaccumulation of toxins. Wizard's final word: the past buried itself in ice. The future melts it open. The wise shall clean, not just to fix, but to transform. Global Robotics Corporation. Robert Colee.